Hey guys, welcome back to RIPP Superchargers and thanks for stopping by. In front of me you see some beautiful Mopar orange coils. These are our performance coils. Basically they're a hotter spark coil. Behind me is a 2017 Ram with a 3.6 liter Pentastar. It's a 1500. It is naturally aspirated. It is here for a supercharger, but right now it's doing some NA testing for us. And since we just ran it on the dyno and made about 250 horsepower, it's an excellent candidate to do one modification, which is our coil, and see what kind of gains we get. We had previously done a video explaining how these coils are a hotter spark than the OEM and basically make more energy, more power at the spark plug. And a lot of clients have asked, well, how much horsepower does that translate to? Now, believe it or not, we have done several vehicles and tried to find that medium where, we might have put a higher mileage 300, Chrysler 300 on the dyno and picked up 13 horsepower. We've put our supercharged charger on the dyno and picked up about 10 horsepower. And now we're putting this bone stock vehicle on the dyno and seeing what we pick up there. The previous vehicles were modified, so therefore it wasn't exactly a clear cut and decisive video, so we decided that we wanted a vehicle that was very, very stock to see what we gain with just one mod, and this is a great candidate. Those of you who want to know more about the performance coil, you can read about it on our website. We do sell these. They're very, very popular. They're broadly used and broadly reviewed online. People have installed them and found their own gains, but today is a good day to show you what we pick up. So what we're going to do is we've already installed them. Since these are a little bit time-consuming to install, the intake manifold has to come off. We didn't bother videoing that, but they are installed now, and we do have a video of this vehicle OEM, and we can link you to that, and then you could do your own comparison, and which will be feel comfortable. So let me make some noise, see what the dyno does, and we'll pick it up from there. You know what? Let me put this horsepower up first. Okay. So, hey, Chris, check this out. I know I'm breaking the routine here, but right here, this is the previous pass that we made. This is 250 horsepower, naturally aspirated with stock coil, stock air rocks, stock exhaust system. Basically, everything is bone stock. We're going to leave that up there and make a pass right on top of that. So let's make some noise. Excellent. All right, guys. So what you got here is basically the red line represents the OEM power and the blue line represents the coil power. So we have 250 horsepower up right there. Now we're going to do the next max power, which is 262 horsepower at the rear wheel. So we picked up 12 horsepower at the rear wheel with just one modification, which is really just installing our coil pack on top of the stock spark plugs as well. We didn't gap them. There's no tune change in this. There is no other change. It's just the coil. So I guess that might satisfy a bunch of curiosity there. Yeah, so this time I'd like to answer some questions because we've gotten so many questions on that video. It's been up there for about a year, and some of the ones that come off the top of my head is, how are these? Well, the best ones are the ones that go snake oil. And I completely understand that. As a matter of fact, there are so many ignition products out there that deliver the same message, but it's difficult to say, hey, we're being honest, but we are. We took a really long time to develop this coil. So what it entailed was finding a manufacturer who would work with us in smaller quantities, and by smaller quantities I mean 2,000, 3,000 units. So we had to be able to commit to something like that. At the same time, we had to reverse engineer the factory coil, which then is time consuming because of the way they actually build it. So you have to find somebody who's comfortable building an OEM coil who then can go in and build your coil, and we were able to do that. Now, at this point, it's when you start doing your testing, right? There's only so much you can do. You can amplify the internals, you can beef up the internals, you can put more solid state stuff inside so that you can carry more energy across, and that's how you go about doing this. It took about 18 months to develop this product before we had something that can actually be used in a car, and then it took another subsequent year to be able to test that as well. So in-house we've tested on Jeeps and we've tested on cars to make sure that they're okay in cold weather and hot weather. And how they do that is by amplifying the power by about 10%. So 10% is sustained. They can actually go higher, but sustained at red line, full tilt the whole time is what you're going to get, and that's what this vehicle showed. So 12 horsepower in one gain is by having more spark on top of the fuel that's in the vehicle, which is important to note is regular, it's not premium, okay? And on top of that, it's the factory airbox, the factory throttle body, no pedal commanders, no cats or exhaust systems, just spark energy being more efficient. So now you could throw a tune on top of this and maybe gain another 10 horsepower on top of it. If somebody knows what he's doing, they could take advantage of that spark and make more power. Now, of course, we're going to add a supercharger to this, and that supercharger is going to add, more air to the engine that's pressurized, and therefore we're going to compound that power. So we know that these engines generally make about 420 to 430 horsepower. So if this one goes making, 450, 440, we know that maybe the spark energy has something to do with that. Well, anyway, this can go on for a pretty long time. If you have some questions, please just throw them down at the bottom and we'll be happy to answer them for you. If not, check out www.rippmods.com, Facebooks, Instagrams, all the social media things, and we're there to help. Thanks, guys.